help me talk about all my books I'm going to read this month? You are. What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. Today I am going to be running through my March TBR, all of the books that I am lucky enough to read during the month of March. So let's have a little bit of fun running through the list of things that I am going to read. We'll figure out which one of these books is going to be the end of the rainbow, where the pot of gold is going to be waiting with all of those stars. And one lucky viewer is going to win a book, so stay tuned for that giveaway. The reason why my list is a little overweight is largely due to a few arcs. These are arcs I haven't received yet, but I'm hoping to get any day now. So they were on my list for last month, they're on this list for this month, and if I don't get them this month, they're going to be on my list for April. Let's talk about those first. At the top of the list is Hell on High by Michael Clark. This is the author that brought us the Patience of a Dead Man trilogy. If you've been around the channel a while, you know I love this trilogy. A lot of you have read it and loved it as well. This is going to be out March the 9th. This one is not a haunted house story. It's a completely different vibe, but I am all in for anything that Michael Clark writes. Same goes for the next book on this list, which is Buzzard's Bowl by John Palladino. This is the second book in the Trials of Ashmount series. I am eagerly awaiting the email that contains the arc for this book because I need to know what happens next. I read that book a few months ago. I loved it. I am addicted. I am fiending for more of this series, and as soon as I can get my hands on it, y'all ain't gonna see me on social media. You ain't gonna see me on Discord. My nose is gonna be in that book. Next on this list is a book that is already published. You can get your hands on it. It's Kareem Solomon's Army of the Cursed. I had already wanted to read this book even before the author reached out and asked me would I be willing to read it and review it. So that was a quick, easy yes for me. I cannot remember what it's about. Honestly, I think it's one that I fell in love with the cover and was like, yep, that's going on the list. That is a lot of the reason why I read a lot of the books that I read. If you see me pick up a book and it has a gorgeous or interesting cover, that's probably why I picked it up. You don't even have to ask. The next book I'm hoping to read this month, it might be next month. I have the physical copy on hold from my library. I've got the ebook on hold from my library and the audiobook on hold from my library. Whichever one of those methods gets it to me first, that's going to be how I read this book. But that is Grady Hendrix's How to Sell a Haunted House. My patron Patrick picked this for me. It's one that he also wants to read. We might even can do a buddy read together. It all depends on when I can get my hands on it, but I am excited. Mother Horror was talking about it on Instagram the last couple of days and she gave it 5 stars, so I can't wait to see where I'm going to land with it. I have another arc that I'm going to be reading called Nightfall and Other Dangers. This is a collection by Jacob Stephen Moore. If that name sounds a little familiar, I have covered one of his books on the channel, The Unwelcome, which I will link up in the cards for you to check out. I loved that one. I later read a short story that took place. It was a prequel to how 2 of the characters in The Unwelcome met. One of the stories in this collection appeared on, I want to say it's godless.com. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to read this series, tell you all about it. I want to say this one is available in April. I'll put that down in the description box below along with a link where you can pre-order it or be able to purchase it once it does come out, but I am very much looking forward to it. I've not read anything by this author that I did not absolutely love and want more from. This is a novella that I am very excited to read. I want to say this is the author's debut novella, though I know they've written some short stories because I've seen them floating around. I'm excited. A lot of people have already gotten their hands on this arc, read it, and loved it. I can't wait to see what the buzz is about. I'm excited for this one. I'll have the information for when it becomes available down in the description box. I'll have all the books linked down below, guys. There's the link where you can find the description, pick up a copy for yourself, or pre-order. I don't have the physical copy of this one yet, but it is on the way. This is book 2 in the Kuiper series by Wilbur Seymour. It's called Orion Citadel. I cannot wait. I recently read and wrote a review for the first book in the series, Kuiper Station. This book, I felt like it was written for me. Absolutely loved it. And when the author saw my review, asked if I would be interested in a copy of the rest of the series. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I've already got them all on my Kindle. But if you want to, I'm not going to say no. This is a series I absolutely would love to collect. It's one I will be rereading because it has one of my favorite friendships that I've read this year. And if you saw a recent video where I talked about how there were 3 books I had read recently that changed my perspective on artificial intelligence, the first book in this series was one of those books that did that, which I'll have that video linked if you want to check it out. But I am excited to continue this series. Next on this list is the Wine and Crime book pick for March. It's Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. I don't know how to say the last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. I've got a picture of it right here. I've got it on hold from the library. This is our thriller that we're going to be reading, and it's going to be the last one we're going to read for a while unless someone wants to step in and take over running the club for a few months. So I got to get my SPSFC reads knocked out and done, so I needed to clear my schedule a little bit, and unfortunately the book club and my Dresden rereads are going to get kicked to the curb for just a few months while I do that. This is actually going to be my first read by this author, though I've seen several books hyped up from this author, so I'm hoping I like them because I've already seen some titles that's going to go on the TBR by this author if I enjoy this one. You've heard me mention SPSFC already, so we're going to get into the books that I'm going to be reading this month for that competition. We are now working on the semi-finalists from each team, and the 3 books that I'm going to start with, the first one's going to be Light Blade. That's what everybody that watched that video, that was what the majority vote, it was almost unanimous, said start with Light Blade by Zamil Akhtar. I cannot wait. This is another one that when it got published, the cover was everywhere. I love the cover. I had no idea anything about the book until I read the description recently when I made the video about the books that I was going to be reading in this round, which again, up in the cards if you want to check that out. I'm excited. I can't wait to read this one. I'm also going to be reading Galaxy Cruise, The Maiden Voyage by Marcus Alexander Hart. Some of my teammates have read this one. They have loved it. They said it's hilarious. I always have room for humor on my TBR. I love having a good laugh. And then the 3rd book this month for SPSFC is going to be Elliot Pepper's Reaper. This one had a lot of interesting elements, just a whole kitchen sink of elements. I can't wait to see how that's going to work together and play out. So those are my 3 SPSFC reads. I have a few more books in physical format that's going to round out this TBR. Of course, I will be continuing the Book of Thrice Dead series by Joseph Sill with the 4th book, Queen of Last Hope. The 3rd book in the series took over as my top favorite, but it wouldn't be my top favorite without the first 2 books with the setup and just... I can't wait to see what is going to happen next. Look at this cover. It even matches for March. It's got the green going on, y'all. I don't know if you noticed, but I got all my green happening. Got my shamrocks on my little winter tree back here. Got my shamrocks on my watch. I get a little excited. Theming for the holidays. You may or may not have noticed. I have another collection of short stories here that I'm going to be reading by one of my favorite authors and very good friends, Elle Stevenson, called Candles, Bullets, and Dead Skin. I believe there are 7 short stories in this one. I've already read one because of stuff and things coming up in the future. I am always happy to read more by Elle Stevenson. So I'm very much looking forward to reading the rest of the collection, the 6 stories that I haven't read yet. I'll be telling y'all all about it, of course. So that brings us to the last book on the TBR, which is also the one I'm going to be doing a giveaway for. So here's what happened. I'm going to tell you up front how I got 2 copies. The author sent one. I don't know if y'all been having trouble with mail and stuff, but I've had a lot of trouble here in my area, and the author said they've experienced it as well. Sent one, it seemingly got held up, lost, so they sent another, and then they both showed up. And so I asked the author, do you mind if I give away one of these copies to someone who watches the channel? And said, no, please, go right ahead. Now, I will tell you, they are both signed, they're personalized to me, but if that doesn't matter to you, comment down below that you would like to be considered for winning a copy. You will have to be comfortable sharing your address with me in a private message. I'll let this roll through until next Wednesday, where I will do a random comment generator to pick a winner. I'll announce it next week on the channel to see who's gonna win, and if you want to, we can buddy read this one together. And friends, that is all of the things that I have lined up to read in March. Some of them are going to be depending on when I get them from the authors, of course. I have a lot of things on the TBR by favorite authors. I have new things from new authors. I always love finding new authors to love and enjoy. Speaking of enjoying, what did you enjoy reading in February? What was your favorite book of the month or short story collection or what have you? What did you read that you absolutely loved? It was your top read of the month. drop it down in those comments down below. You never know, it might end up on April's TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, but you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button on your way out. Again, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.